This is a cute room.
Well. I know.
Good crowd.
Okay, I'm going to use you. I'm short, so
Of course.
this is not easy.
By the way, we were laughing backstage
Yes.
because this.
I know.
So bad. We're going to sit now.
We could do like a weird dance.
I'm 5 feet, so I'm going to sit down and pretend to be
5'10".
tall.
Yeah, tall girls. So both of you have done so much over the course of your careers thus far, and I'm sure your paths began in very different ways. Can you both sort of take me through and us through your career trajectory thus far, like how you got your start and how you got to where you are today?
I actually wanted to go into makeup, but my parents were like, no, you're not going to cosmetology school. So I got my business degree with an accounting concentration, but I actually use it in my career because I'm my own agent now. But when I was 27, a late bloomer, I felt like I was working for the weekend and road trip to road trip, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to wake up and be 50 and never really love what I'm doing for a living. So I quit, and I went to makeup designery in Burbank. I was the oldest girl in the class. It was me and all 18-year-olds. They hated getting me on test day because I had freckles and wrinkles and crow's feet, and they're just like, oh, I don't know how to deal with that. But I was like, in the meantime, taking notes, staying after class, perfecting the cat eye, perfecting like time trials of individual lashes. Like I just loved it. While a lot of the 18-year-olds weren't coming to class, they were 18 and young. So I got for a year and a half, I went on Craigslist and looked at like crew looking for makeup artists. I would show up. So many of that stuff I've never used, but it's set experience, it's making contacts. I would do like student films, AFI films. Then I emailed all of the makeup agencies and asked to get on their assistant lists. And only 2 of the 18 that I emailed responded, but that was enough to get me in the door. And I found out I wasn't really assisting people, I was more getting the jobs that the artist didn't want. So my first celebrity was Pauly Shore. I know, but I was on time, professional, and the publicist and I kind of bonded on the side, and then she was like, hey, why don't you work on this guy? Why don't you work on this person? And then I got signed. They started noticing that the people I was assisting, the companies were asking for me instead of who I was assisting, so it started getting this weird stepping on people's toes. And so then I got signed, and I think it was a quick, also because I was mature. I was definitely going after what I wanted and doing that type of thing. And so for a while I was doing a lot of men's grooming, which was fine, but it wasn't really my love. And Denzel Washington's publicist had just signed Lauren Conrad from The Hills, and she called and she said she doesn't like her makeup artist. Do you want to try her, or would you be willing to try her? And I was like, sure, thinking, I don't know The Hills, but my sister was like, she's my favorite on the show. Go do it. And so then, of course, I became a fan of The Hills and of Lauren. And so through Lauren, I got to, like, more and more publicists would stop thinking of me as men's grooming and start thinking of me for women, which was when you're on such a high when you come home from, like, just doing a statement red lip or a cat eye type thing. And so then I had my own blog, and then in 2011 I started the beauty department, which was about, just because when magazines would call and say, can you break down the look you did on the red carpet or for Rachel Bilson? And I would spend an hour doing the 10 steps, and then they'd print 2 steps, and I'd picture this girl in her dorm room trying to recreate this look with these 2 steps. And I'm like, we have to show it on how to do it. Let's shoot it on models instead of me doing it on the model, where they'll think, oh, well, of course she makes it look easy. She's an expert. I taught the models how to do it and would have the models do it. And now that's kind of the norm. I feel like that started how everybody does tutorials now, where the model's holding the curling iron or the brush. But I have to say we were the first. But so that was 2011, and then I just launched my own makeup line through Beauty's Most Wanted, which is very exciting. And if any of you guys are in the VIP, then you get it in your goodie bag, which I'm very proud of.
Yay!
So that's my long story. Thank you.
For me, I always say that my career path gives people whiplash, because most people go like this. I went like this, like left, right, up, down at all different times in my career. I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in fashion, and I wanted to work in television. And both of those individually are so difficult to do. You combine them, and they're nearly impossible. And especially for somebody that grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm the daughter of immigrant parents. And so the challenges for me were just like, how do I even get my foot in the door? So I would take any opportunity that came my way. I started as an assistant at W Magazine out of college. And I hated it. It was not the place for me, but it taught me so many important lessons in my career, and it kind of connected me to the first people that really supported me in my career path. And because I hated it so much, this is why sometimes it's important to have really bad jobs, it pushed me so hard to do something else and to find opportunities outside of it, because work wasn't fulfilling for me. So I had to fill up my calendar after work and on weekends doing all of these kind of like what you said, like Craigslist type TV shoots that would give me exposure on camera. They weren't paying me anything, but I loved it, and I loved just being able to have that feeling, because then I knew that I could be really happy doing this work. I just needed to find my way there. So I did a ton of on-camera stuff that had nothing to do with fashion, and I kind of got my big break here in New York when I got to produce, not even be on camera, but I got to produce Fashion Week coverage for NYC TV, which is a local public access channel, which nobody watched, but it didn't matter, because I got to be at the shows, and I kind of got my foot in the door, and I understood what it was like to be a producer. And those were the two most important jobs, because now what I do is I style segments for television. I do a lot for the Today Show. I've done stuff for Wendy Williams, Access Hollywood, E! News. But if I didn't have those original kind of really bad experiences, I would never be good at what I do now. And in that time, I obviously started a blog. I wrote a book. I've hosted a ton of different things. But it was really combining the things that I loved and never thinking that an opportunity wasn't worthy of me. I think when you put yourself out there and you look at everything as an opportunity, as an experience, you become really solid in your craft or in your trade, and you learn something from everything that you do. So now I'm finally doing, I graduated college at 22, I'm 35. Now, it's been a long road, but I'm finally doing what I wanted to do at 22, which was fashion and TV. But it took a long time to actually really get there. And I will say that having the blog, I think, is probably what opened the most doors, because it gave me a chance to have a very distinct point of view. And even though I wasn't an editor at a magazine, somebody at a magazine or at a TV show could come to the website and see what my point of view was. Mine was all about affordable and accessible fashion, and that had a large reach in 2008 when we were going through that recession. And so it was really finding kind of what's speaking to people and what's speaking to the largest number of people, and then honing in on those skills, and literally begging and calling and emailing every person I knew that worked in television, and that's how I got my first job on TV at Channel 10 in Philadelphia. I really just had to go in and sell myself so hard, and I never took no for an answer. I would call all day until someone answered the phone. I don't believe in leaving voicemails, because they'll never call you back. Just hang up the phone and keep calling until somebody picks up the phone. So
the squeaky wheel gets the grease, as they say.
Exactly.
It's totally, totally true. And to echo what you said, I agree. I've always said this to people as well. Having bad jobs is just as important as having good jobs, because A, you get the great stories. B, you figure out what you don't want to do, which is just as important as figuring out what you do want to do.
Absolutely.
So to that end, I'm sure this is something that you guys have heard just time and time again from everyone in the industry, but networking is so crucial in fashion and in beauty. And it's the people that you meet and the people you work for that can really take your career to the next level, and they can teach you so much. So to that end, can you guys share some networking advice or stories of mentors you've had over the years, or people who have sort of relationships you forged that have really helped you in your trajectory?
I would say when I wanted a makeup line, I just told everybody that I came in contact with, because somebody knows somebody in a manufacturing side, or the palette side, or the packaging side. Somebody knows. You just throw it out there so everybody knows, so that if somebody's like, we're looking for a new makeup artist, that seed has been planted that Amy Nadine wants her own line. That's big. And then I think with publicists, unfortunately, our livelihood is in the palm of their hands. Some of them are wonderful, some of them not so wonderful. So you just kind of learn to get thick skin, and you network with the ones that you love, and reach out to them. So because sometimes you fall out of their lexicon, and so if you just send them a quick email asking about their son, or asking, telling them, sharing a red carpet look that you just did, I can't tell you how many times the response is, oh my God, are you available on Thursday? They just forgot about me, and then that email, and a lot of times it doesn't. They'll just tell me about their son, but it's just you just keep those relationships going with the ones you like, and the ones you don't like, don't even waste your time with them. Don't send them gifts. Just don't bother.
I think for me, the critical thing has been FaceTime with mentors and people that I network with. We live in this kind of digital age where we're all connected via Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and whatever, and even just email. And the people that have supported me the most are the people that I made time for. Because you have to remember, they're super busy. So I was relentless when I found someone that I thought really knew the business that I wanted to be in or had the connections that I thought could be really helpful. I would stalk them and I would bring them coffee to their office, because I think sitting down with someone and having that face-to-face time, first of all, it lets them know that you're super serious about what you're doing. Because a lot of people want to do this, right? You meet people and everybody wants to be in fashion or beauty or style, but the people that are really passionate about it will find that time and they'll make those sacrifices. So for me, it was sitting down with them one-on-one. Even if I got 5 minutes every 6 months, those 5 minutes let them know how serious I was. And also, it let me share my passion for what I wanted to do. And when you can communicate and articulate that passion to somebody that's in a position of power or in a position to kind of help you to the next level, then they can speak about you in such a different way versus just having an email or like a text. So I think for me, find those mentors. It doesn't matter, who they are, but find them and just don't stalk them, but just be really assertive in your approach and make sure that you sit down with them and that they see how passionate you are, and they're going to reciprocate that effort when they go on to meet someone that can help you or put you in a better position.
Totally. I think it's a matter of like making yourself a priority in what they're doing and getting that, like you said, face time, making sure you're fresh on their minds.
Yeah. But on every job you go to, try to get everyone's Instagram by the end of the day so that
that's clever.
You follow them, they follow you, and then you're just in their feed and they're seeing, oh, look what she did on the red carpet last night. Like, I always am bummed when I didn't do that at the end of the day, so now I try to.
Definitely, and it's another way to contact them.
Yeah.
No need for a business card.
Yeah, just direct message them.
Yeah, totally. So what would you guys say are the greatest challenges you faced on your way up in your career? They're probably pretty different.
Yeah, I think for me, it was resume. Because my career hasn't been traditional, like I've never been an editor at a magazine and I've never done celebrity styling. I think people maybe questioned my ability. So I think my resume was the biggest challenge, but I saw it as the biggest opportunity. Because for me, I wasn't trying to be a red carpet stylist. I wanted to dress real women in a way that they could relate to the clothes and in a way that they could afford the clothes. And nobody was really speaking to that group of women at the time when I started my blog. Now you see so many real women in People Style Watch. We're seeing all of you guys featured in magazines, and we're seeing you in campaigns for all of these major brands, because I think at the time we were just so focused on celebrity. So for me, it was kind of saying, okay, no, I'm not a celebrity stylist. I'm not trying to be a celebrity stylist. And I'm not a magazine editor. I'm not trying to be a magazine editor. What I'm trying to be is me, and I'm trying to articulate that voice and that point of view. So I think for me, it was just a lack of credits.
Yeah.
And the way I proved that was by dressing real women for television and being able to send those clips and people saying, oh my gosh, she can dress someone who's a size 2, but she can also dress someone who's a size 24, and they look just as good.
Yeah.
So I kind of let my work speak for myself when it was on TV. But for me, it was accessibility, and I think it was, again, really focusing on real women that have real body issues and real budgets, which we all have.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of, I think, got me over the resume hurdle.
Not everyone can borrow designer clothes.
No, I mean, that would be awesome too.
It would be.
We can't,
Totally.
Mine would be figuring out the agency. Do you sign with an agency? Do you not? You meet with them and they turn you down, so that doesn't feel good. Then you meet with another one and they promise you, tell us your wish list of who you want, Mary-Kate and Ashley, blah, 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 and you're like, you leave there thinking it's amazing, and then 2 months go by and they're just taking money from your jobs that you brought them, but not getting anything in return, and you're like, this is so dumb. And so you call them, I'm not happy. Oh, we'll wait till we'll get you someone, and then they get you Kathy Lee and Hoda, and you're like, this is not okay. They're wonderful, but
they're fantastic. I love them.
Yes.
I work with them every Wednesday. You should watch my segment. It's called Happy for Less on Kathy Lee and Hoda. And it's all under $50, so everyone in this room can afford something.
That's awesome. Totally. So it'll be 3 years this December, went out on my own. But it's hard because publicists are very snobby. Like the first thing they ask you when you say you're a makeup artist, what agency are you with? And you're just like, I'm on my own, actually. And so now I keep all my own money, and I've actually made more in the last 3 years than I did my whole career. So that was definitely a struggle figuring out walking that line. And then the other thing would be just the thick skin thing. You have to not take things personally when you're with a client and they're in the car with their publicist and they're like, this is my A-team, this is who I want for everything. And so you feel really good, and then a week later you see they're at the Emmys and you didn't do their makeup, and you're just like, so does that mean the publicist had their own agenda, or does that mean she just said that but doesn't really feel that way, or did she go home and see? Your brain can start, it's called confibulating when it's lies told honestly. They're narratives you create in your mind that you believe, stories that you believe, oh, this must have been what happened. And you have to like just tell your mind to shush. You almost have to like cut off the sentences. Well, maybe she... But then you just have to like cut them off so that you don't go down that path, so you're not lying in bed having like hypothetical situations in your mind. So that has been a big growth for me, which actually now I feel like I'm in a very good place. There's not much, but you're gonna get your feelings hurt. Clients are gonna love you, and then one day start using somebody else. You don't know why they left. 2 years later, they're gonna come back to you. You don't know why they came back. Gucci Westman is a mentor of mine, and she said years ago, don't ever call anyone your client, because they're just not, I mean, I'm lucky. Oprah's had hers for 25 years. I'm lucky Lauren's been with me for 9 years, and Rachel's like 7 years. And so I have like some that are like that, but for the most part, I don't call anyone my client because you just never know.
Right.
They could someone could direct message them on Instagram.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, second guessing yourself is sort of like wasted energy.
It's such
not
wasted
change
energy.
The outcome.
Yeah.
Really.
But it's art. Art is like when you're doing makeup or styling, it's an art. So it's subjective. So someone thinks it's beautiful and someone doesn't think it's beautiful. So you just have to be on time, be prepared, do your prep work the night before, get inspiration, bring a pin board to show them what you like, call them and find out what their dress is beforehand. Like just do all your prep work and then that's all you can do.
Definitely. So did either of you spoke to this a little bit already, but was there an I made it moment that you've had in your careers where like you were standing somewhere, had booked a job, or on a segment, and you just thought to yourself like, I think I might be okay in this industry. I might not have to go back to school or do what my parents wanted me to do.
Yes. I think for me this actually just happened, and it happened and I didn't even acknowledge it. It took my mom to be like, snap out of it, like what is your problem? I was complaining about work, which I do often, I think we all do, and I was venting about just like a really hard day. And I grew up watching Meredith Vieira moderating The View. And to me, she is a legend and one of the most wonderful and kind people you will ever work with as a friend, as a journalist, as a mentor. And luckily this year, I get to sit right next to her. I sit to her left on the Meredith Vieira show as a panelist. And that was the moment for me when I thought, I watched her like in my house with my mom thinking, this is so unbelievable. Like I love the voice that she gives women, and I love that she's so real and kind and a mom, and she's so smart and she's so passionate, and everybody that has worked with her will tell you the same things about her, that she's just a phenomenal person. And so for me, it was 2 weeks ago when I was complaining about schedule, which by the way, great problem to have when you're really busy and working. Never complain about your schedule. I was complaining about my schedule, and my mom just kind of said to me, what are you talking about? Like these are good problems to have. And by the way, you sit to the left of one of your like personal icons, and an icon for so many women that work in television. So quit your bitching and like own it and sit next to her and sit up there proud. So that was my moment, and it took my mom to tell me that I was having the moment, because sometimes you can't get outside of yourself.
Moms are good for that.
My mom especially. She's crazy. But it's like it takes somebody else sometimes to let you acknowledge that moment. So I think my advice is allow yourself to have those moments, because we're always second guessing ourselves. And like you said, you hear all this noise, and especially with social media, you see other people doing things. And you're like, why didn't I get that?
The curse of FOMO.
It's FOMO. It's
real.
Constant digital FOMO.
So real.
And so allow yourself to have those moments, because you should be proud of the things that you're done. And it takes a ton of little steps to get to that big step. So let yourself have those moments.
Totally.
I'm trying to think if there's a few little ones. Like I remember.
You can say several.
Okay. I remember when Lauren was on the cover of Entertainment Weekly, and it's a close-up with her head on a pillow with a camera coming at her. And that we didn't know that was going to be the cover, but I was crossing my fingers. I wanted that to be the cover. And I remember coming back from Tahoe on a camping girls trip and buying it at the gas station and putting it next to my bed and waking up throughout the night to look at it. Like I just was just so obsessed that it was like I did bottom lashes. I don't know if you've ever done like bottom lashes. But it was just But it was just one of those special moments where I just kept I remember keep turning the light on to look at it throughout the night, and just like and then put it back there and go back to sleep. It was very cute. And then I had like a George Clooney cover, and that I felt like, okay, I think I've made it. But then it goes up and down, up and down. Last month I headed up the makeup for Lauren's Kohl's fashion show at New York Fashion Week. Yes. So like being able to say I've headed up a New York Fashion Week, I pretty much was on a high for 2 weeks. After that, I would go on bed at night and go to lcrunway.com and watch it because the video is on there.
As someone who was there, it was stunning.
It was amazing.
It looked as good close up as it did.
Thank you.
That was a beautiful presentation.
Yeah, I might watch it again tonight.
While you're holding your entertainment weekly cover.
That's in a box somewhere, but I could go on there and watch that.
So good. How are we on time? Do we have time for a few more questions? A couple more? Oh, okay, great.
Look at you.
Your
Thank
official
you. I know.
timekeeper.
That's amazing.
So these days, fashion and beauty are all about collaborating and collaborations, whether they're high-low or between two artists. So who are some of your dream collaborators who you haven't worked with yet, but would love to? Pie in the sky here.
Like a client I'd like to work on, or someone I'd like to work with?
You can give one of each.
Okay.
I guess
go first.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. For me, well, a dream collaboration, hopefully could still happen, it would have been with Oscar de la Renta. Oh. I would have loved just to be in the air that he breathes. He's passed away, but obviously the line continues. So for me, that was always, I think when I was younger, thinking about fashion and kind of what it meant to like be a woman and dress like a woman, and who my grandmother really like just loved and adored, it was always Oscar. And so if I could do anything, if I could like steam dresses for Oscar de la Renta now, 10 years from now, 20 years, like sign me up, I will do it. Because I think to me, it's obviously the Latino thing is so important in that connection, and there wasn't a lot of designers that were Latino when I was growing up. And so just to be in that space, and I would still love to do it now. I think the brand will continue to evolve, and I love what they're doing. So I would love to be a part of anything for Oscar de la Renta.
That's a good one.
Okay, so don't judge, but my favorite person on the planet is Celine Dion. Unapologetically.
I'm planning a trip to Vegas.
You are.
My birthday.
Yes.
Yes. Before she's done with her residency.
Celine and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
You are like on opposite. She loves Taylor Swift.
I was going to say my dream collaborator would be
Taylor Swift.
Tay-Tay.
Yeah. Mine would be Celine, but I'm worried that my hand would shake. I've met her twice, and neither time I talked,
well, she's so regal also. She's like, Celine.
She's a diva. I know. So it would be to work on Celine, but not to let her know I'm a fan. Just act like I'm not a fan.
Like totally cool.
So that she would hire me for years.
Exactly. Well, piggybacking off of that, I was going to ask, like, when you're sort of, and this applies to sort of my line of work too, when you're working with celebrities, you kind of just can't get starstruck.
You can't fan out.
Have you ever kind of slipped away from yourself and been a little bit like,
oh my God. Yeah, I am such a fangirl. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, sorry, I'm just a fan. Like, I'm a real person. Like, I totally fangirl out. I get to cover the Met Gala every year for WNBC, and I literally am like screaming and shaking. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then they turn and look at you like they might give you an interview, and you're like, oh, I'm composed. I'm holding a microphone. I'm here doing a job. But I am having so many. Madonna's butt was like right here, like at the punk one. Yeah. I was like, I couldn't even breathe. Like, her ass was in, sorry.
Her assets.
Well, do you remember, like, she was wearing that little bodysuit. I was like, this is not happening. And then she turns around, and then you get the face, and I could not put myself together. I think I, like, stuck my mic out hoping that, like, she would breathe into it or something. Because that is all I got. And whatever. We did. Madonna. And we used the piece in my package because it's Madonna, and she was right in front of you. So I
breathing into your microphone.
Yes, breathing
That's
into
amazing.
I fangirl out all the time. I just got to do a segment on Friday or Thursday, and Brie Larson, who I'm such a fan of. If you guys haven't seen the movie Room, go see it. She's unbelievable. And she's
Bring tissues, though.
Yes, really. She's adorable. And I was having like a total fangirl. She's like, are you okay? I was like, no, I'm obsessed with you. Like, no, I'm not okay. Can we take a photo? She was totally fine. So I'm like the realest person on the planet. I'm such a fan. I don't care. I'll be a fan till I die. So yeah, I'm awful.
I don't really fan out except for Celine.
Not even with Clooney.
I didn't.
What?
I couldn't. I can't go in there and fan out. Then he'll be
fan
never
out, like
hired.
in the side room, like in your own, like, and then come back and be composed.
No, the fan panic room.
Yes,
like you're just like
yeah.
No, I picture them pooping or in their underwear. Don't put that anywhere as a goal.
By the way, speaking of getting total fangirl, Lauren was just on Meredith like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I did her makeup for that.
I didn't even see you there. Okay, I was having a total fangirl moment all about I was like walking up and down the halls looking for her.
Why didn't you knock on that door?
I don't know, because I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, they don't want to be bothered by me. Like, they don't want to be bothered. She looked beautiful on the show. So yeah, I fangirl about Lauren all the time.
Fair. She is fangirl worthy.
For sure.
So if each of you guys could offer one piece of career advice to your 10 years younger selves, what would you say and why?
I'm going to steal this from my publicist who said, get on social media, all of them, all at the same time. So I would have been 25 10 years ago.
Was there social media 10 years ago?
Yeah, there was Twitter. I think Twitter was
Twitter,
around
I joined
10
in
years ago.
2007.
Yeah, late
Twitter,
aughts.
Yeah, Twitter. YouTube was around in 2005,
Yeah.
and you think about the people that have really like made huge careers for themselves on YouTube. I mean, I started my blog in 2008, and I thought I was late to the game. Because there was already all those like the Bryan Boys and all those big blogs had already started. So I would have told myself, get on. I was like, nobody tweets. Like, what is this Twitter thing? This is so lame. Yeah, well, I regret that. And then same Pinterest. There's another one that I was like, that's a fad.
Right.
Yeah. Don't take advice from me, okay? I would have gotten on everything very early and been a very active user because it makes all the difference in the world, and it's so important. So if you're not on it, like all of these things, now I'm like the first one to sign up the day I hear about it. I don't care if I want to use it or not.
You got to get your name.
Yes,
you have
that's
to get
the other
your
thing.
name.
Get your name.
Yes, that's so true.
that-
Somebody has mine on Instagram.
It's the worst.
And they're a paid, like someone that gets paid to like things.
Yeah.
So they're not even a real person.
They're like
the
a
worst.
bot.
They're a bot.
Someone got my Gmail name, and after that I was like, never again, I will be the first on.
Yeah.
They say open Gmail accounts for your kids so that they can have that when they're older. Seems very silly.
All of the baby names you're maybe considering, like just have them in your back pocket.
And one other thing I would tell myself, and this is something that I'm still learning to this day, is life has to be a balance. So as hard as you work and as much as you want to give everything to working and advancing your career, there's got to be a balance. Friends and family make you a better person, so you have to make time for the things, exercise, you have to make time for the things that just make you an all-around person, not just work. So and that's something I still struggle with.
It's one of the
to this
hardest
day.
things.
Yeah.
But
But the first 5 years, I made a vow that I would cancel anything for work. So I remember having a family reunion that last minute I got a big job, and it takes so many steps to get to that director to call you that I was like, sorry, I'm not coming to the family reunion. And then I was like, I'm just doing this for 5 years. And then on the 6th year, I'm like, I need one more year of saying yes to everything, and then I can start saying no to things. And now you can say no and blah, blah. But I
you
would
probably still say yes to like 90% of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
You say
hard.
yes.
It's hard to
really
turn it
hard.
And you fake it till you make it. If you don't know how to do it, you say, yes, of
too.
course I know
no
how to do
problem.
it. And you
I'll
look it
figure
up
it
on
out.
YouTube and you figure it out. And you feel like a fraud for a few years. And you
Perception is
figure it out.
reality.
Yes.
Like, just own it.
And a lot of
Perception is reality.
times you drive there with like knots in your stomach, feeling like such a fraud because you don't really know how to do it. And then you drive home feeling like such a badass.
Right.
So shocked that you did it so well. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to say yes from now on to everything. I could figure it out.
Nailed
It's not
it.
rocket science. But I guess my advice would be, I wish I would have networked more with publicists 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember there was a birthday party that a publicist threw, and she emailed me that afternoon saying, "Are you coming?" And I said yes. But it was a Sunday, and it was a beach day, and this guy that I was like AOL instant messaging, that like tells you when it was, like said he was coming by the beach on his motorcycle, and I blew her off. I didn't go, and then I sent her like a nonchalant, "Sorry, Mr. Party.
Right.
Well, let's do dinner this week." She never wrote me again, never hired me again. So that was, and now she just started hiring me again like 8 years later.
Totally.
So if I could go back to that younger girl, I'd be like, you can
Pass up on the beach
don't,
day
yeah,
and the
seriously,
motorcycle
with the
booth.
guy. I'm so stupid.
That's like when Elsie didn't go to Paris.
I
for
know.
Teen Vogue.
Always be the girl.
Do you guys remember that
Yes.
episode for like Jason Waller?
Yes,
Yeah.
you just do,
Yeah.
when you're younger.
Sorry.
When you're younger, guys have a lot of power.
Yeah.
Don't say no to
When
Paris
they've
for
been
a dude.
yeah.
Single mascara tear.
Totally.
Okay, we're running a little bit long, but are there any questions from the audience? I want to give you guys a chance. You can shout them out.
So I make sure we follow each other on Instagram, so at least they can see what I'm up to. And then if they haven't hired me in a while, I'll just send them a quick email. So I wouldn't say I don't in the email I don't say I need work, hire me. It's never pushy. It's just like a checking in. Just wanted to show you what I'm doing. Blah, blah. Never ask for work or anything like that. It's just very light. And some of them just forget that because when they get a new client or they have a job, they just think I'll call the wall group. They'll have somebody for me, and the wall group will always have somebody for you. So since I'm not at an agency, that I'm not getting suggested. So I have to do that legwork on my own.
Yeah. I do. I have a publicist, I have an agent, and I have a manager. and I let them do their own thing, but I still am my biggest advocate all the time. You can never assume that somebody else is pushing really hard for you, and even if they are, push for yourself. But yeah, I have all three, and it's a full-time job trying to manage all of those things together, but they've been really, really pivotal in my career. Yes, so I am an obsessive practicer. My poor husband lives with me, and he just is like, I don't want to play Savannah Guthrie. Like, I don't want to I don't want to be her. I don't want to be Natalie. I don't want to play the role of the host. But I practice over and over and over again. I don't do it as much now because I'm much more comfortable. But up until a year ago, I rehearsed every line that I would say. And here's the thing. Anything can happen because it's live TV, and it often does. But as long as I feel prepared for the segment, I feel like I can kind of dodge any curveball that comes to me. And sometimes you get curveballs. Like, I've been on with Wendy, and I'm like, what is she saying to me? This is not what we're talking about. But I felt prepared in knowing what I had to deliver in that moment. So I kind of took it's like a politician. You take the question, you spin it, and then you get out your talking point. So you just kind of have to talk it out. Find somebody that will rehearse with you. When you're making, but never go into a live TV experience not having walked through your segment at least a dozen times.
I can only imagine. Were there any, this is a question of my own that I'm throwing in.
Okay.
Have you ever had any live TV fiascos?
I mean, no, knock on wood, not yet.
Knock on your chair, I'm on mine.
Not yet, but again, it's because I practice. And by the way, I also did QVC for about 2 years. And on QVC, you're live for 2 hours at a time, talking about stuff that maybe you don't love that much, and you just make it up on the fly. So luckily for me, I got all those bad moments out at 2 to 4 a.m. in the middle of the night.
Right.
Nobody was watching. There's no evidence of it. So now when you see me on TV, you're like, oh, she's so good. No, go back and watch the QVC stuff, and you'll realize I wasn't that good.
Yeah, totally. Those are the most entertaining shows to watch, by the way, because it's just
I know. So
it's
fun.
Intense. It's
2
intense.
hours
of live TV. No talking points, no prompter. You're just.
But
out
they're
there
so
floating.
good because I'll be flipping through and I'll stop and watch, and then I'm ready to order it.
Yep.
I'm like, I
They
need
sell-
this.
Oh, they will
sell
sell
that
you hard
stuff.
on anything. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, guys, and thank you both for being
Thank you.
here.
This is so fun.
This is really fun.
Oh, and can I just, really quickly, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I am at Lilliana Vazquez or at the LV Guide. And if you want to connect, I'll be out there if any guys want to come and ask
we'll be
questions.
hanging around.
Yeah, we'll hang around for all of you.
Cool.
Thanks,
guys.
Hey guys, thanks for watching and so glad that you're here. You could just take a moment and subscribe to our channel. You can do it by clicking here, over here, or wherever that subscribe button is, just click it. You'll get everything directly sent to you, first to know of all things Simply Stylist. Thank you so much, and if you don't, this dog is coming after you.